If you're doing keto and the results feel stuck, it's often not willpower. It's math you can't see. Ketosis is sensitive to small carb leaks, especially when they happen daily. A few grams here and there can add up fast. And the frustrating part is you can feel like you're eating perfect keto while your body reads it differently. This presentation is a practical checklist. It's built around 7 common hidden carb mistakes that quietly push your intake above your personal threshold. You'll hear where carbs hide, why the label can mislead you, and what to change without making your diet miserable. Keep in mind, ketosis isn't a moral scorecard. It's just a metabolic state. Your job is to reduce the surprises. By the end, you'll be able to scan your day and spot the most likely carb sources in under a minute. Moving to slide 2. Before the 7 mistakes, you need one simple idea. Your carb limit isn't a universal number. Some people stay in ketosis at 30 to 50 grams net carbs. Others need 20 or even less. Activity, sleep, stress, and protein intake can all shift the line. That's why hidden carbs are so annoying. They don't just add carbs, they remove your margin for error. A helpful way to think about it is a budget. If your budget is 20 grams net, a small 4-gram mistake is 20% of your day. 2 or 3 of those and you're over. Also, pay attention to what you're counting. Many keto plans use net carbs, which is total carbs minus fiber, and sometimes minus certain sugar alcohols. But not every sugar alcohol behaves the same. So accuracy matters more than perfection. You're aiming for consistency and fewer surprises. Moving to slide 3. Hidden carb mistake number 1 is sauces and dressings. This is the classic keto trap because the main food looks perfect. You're eating chicken, salad, or eggs. Then the sauce quietly adds sugar or starch. Ketchup, barbecue sauce, teriyaki, honey mustard, and many light dressings are the usual suspects. Even small amounts matter because sauces are concentrated. 1 tablespoon can be fine, but 2 or 3 across a meal can shift your whole day. Another issue is serving size games. The label might say 1 tablespoon, but most people pour 3. A simple fix is to treat sauces like carbs until proven otherwise. Check total carbs per serving and multiply by what you actually use. If you want a safe default, choose olive oil and vinegar, full-fat mayo, mustard with no added sugar, hot sauce with minimal carbs, or make a quick dressing with oil, acid, salt, and spices. Moving to slide 4. Mistake number 2 is keto packaged foods and bars. The word keto on the front doesn't guarantee your body treats it as keto. Many products rely on fiber blends, resistant starches, or sugar alcohols to lower net carbs on paper. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the ingredient and your digestion. Maltitol is a big one. It can raise blood glucose for many people more than they expect. Another issue is portion creep. A bar might fit your macros, but it can trigger snacking patterns that push total carbs higher. The practical rule is, treat keto processed foods as optional tools, not daily staples. Read the ingredient list, not just net carbs. Watch for maltitol, tapioca starch, rice flour, and modified starch. If you're troubleshooting ketosis, simplify for a week. Base meals on meat, eggs, fish, low-carb vegetables, and added fats you control. Moving to slide 5. Mistake number 3 is nuts, nut butters, and just a handful snacking. Nuts are keto-friendly, but they're also easy to overeat. The carbs aren't huge per serving, yet the serving is small. Cashews and pistachios are especially higher in carbs compared with macadamias, pecans, or walnuts. Nut butters add another layer because people don't measure them. 2 big spoonfuls can be a lot more than the label serving. Also, some nut butters include added sugar or honey. The fix is boring, but it works. Pre-portion nuts into small containers or weigh them a few times until your eyes learn the serving. Choose lower carb options more often, and if you're stuck, remove nuts for a week and see what happens. Many people discover nuts weren't bad. They were just the easiest place to accidentally add 10 to 20 extra grams of carbs across a day. Moving to slide 6. Mistake number 4 is dairy, especially milk, yogurt, and coffee add-ins. Heavy cream and many cheeses can fit keto well, but dairy has natural milk sugar called lactose. That's why milk has more carbs than people expect. Flavored yogurts are often sugar bombs, even when they sound healthy, and the sneakiest version is the keto coffee that turns into a dessert. A splash of milk, a flavored creamer, plus a syrup, plus a dusting of cocoa can quietly become a real carb load. Even plain Greek yogurt can add up if you use a big bowl. The fix is to choose dairy with predictable carbs and measure it for a while. Use heavy cream or unsweetened nut milk instead of milk. Pick plain unsweetened yogurt and add your own flavor with cinnamon or a few berries if it fits your budget. Moving to slide 7. Mistake number 5 is vegetables that are healthy but not low carb in the amounts you're eating. Keto usually works best with non-starchy vegetables. Think leafy greens, cucumbers, zucchini, asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, and peppers. The problem is when meals drift toward higher carb plants, like onions in big amounts, carrots, beets, winter squash, and especially potatoes and sweet potatoes. Another common surprise is large servings of tomatoes or tomato-based sauces. None of these foods are bad. The issue is dose. A small amount in a recipe might be fine. A big bowl can push you over. The fix is to learn a short list of higher carb vegetables and treat them like a measured carb source. Build your plate around low-carb vegetables first. Then add small, intentional portions of the higher carb ones if your daily budget allows it. Moving to slide 8. Mistake number 6 is restaurant and takeout meals even when you order the keto option. Restaurants optimize for taste and texture. That often means sugar in marinades, starch in sauces, and flour or cornstarch used as a thickener. Even scrambled eggs can be mixed with pancake batter in some places to make them fluffier. Grilled meats may be brushed with sweet glaze, and salads can be fine until the croutons, candied nuts, and sweet dressings show up. The hard part is you can't see the ingredients. The fix is to order in a way that reduces unknowns. Choose simple proteins and ask for sauces on the side. Pick butter, olive oil, or vinegar as your default. Avoid glazed, crispy, breaded, and sticky descriptions. And if you're troubleshooting ketosis, limit restaurant meals for a week. It's not forever. It's just to remove variables and get clear feedback. Moving to slide 9. Mistake number 7 is zero sugar drinks, gums, and mints. People focus on sugar, but the real issue is total carbs and the sweeteners used. Some sugar-free products use dextrose or maltodextrin as fillers. Those can behave like fast carbs, even if the serving looks tiny. With mints and gum, the label might round down carbs per piece. If you have 10 pieces, rounding becomes real. With drinks, the bigger risk is that sweet taste can keep cravings active for some people, which leads to more snacking. That's not a character flaw. It's a predictable response. The fix is to audit your little items. Check ingredients for maltodextrin, dextrose, and maltitol. If ketosis is the priority, run a simple experiment. Switch to water, sparkling water, plain tea, or black coffee for a week. Keep it boring, then decide what to add back. Moving to slide 10. Now let's make this usable with a fast troubleshooting order. Step 1 is to remove the highest uncertainty items. That's usually restaurant meals, sauces, and keto packaged snacks. Step 2 is to measure the sneaky, healthy add-ons for a few days. Nuts, dairy, and higher carb vegetables are the big 3. Step 3 is to simplify your meals so you can actually learn from your body's feedback. A simple template works: a protein you can identify, a low-carb vegetable, and a fat you control. Keep seasoning simple. Then watch how you feel. And if you track, watch your total carbs and net carbs consistently. If you use ketone testing, remember it's a tool, not a grade. Hydration, exercise, and time since your last meal can affect readings. The point is to find the leak, not to chase perfect numbers. Make one change at a time so you know what helped. Moving to slide 11. Let's talk about the label problem, because it creates hidden carbs even when you're trying. In many countries, labels allow rounding. That means a product can show 0 grams of carbs per serving even when it has some. If you eat multiple servings, those fractions stack. Another issue is fiber. Net carbs subtract fiber, but some processed fibers don't behave like the fiber in broccoli. They can be partially digested, which changes the real impact. Then there are sugar alcohols. Erythritol tends to have less effect for many people, while maltitol often has more. The practical approach is to be consistent. If you count net carbs, do it the same way every day. When you're stuck, count total carbs for a short period or cut the products with the most creative math. Also, weigh and measure a few common foods. After a week, you'll estimate portions much better and hidden carbs drop automatically. Moving to slide 12. One more hidden carb pattern is keto weekends or untracked bites, licks, and tastes. It sounds small, but it's common. You taste a sauce while cooking, you finish a kid's leftovers. You grab a few chips at a party because it's just 3. The problem is that ketosis responds to totals, not intentions. And these little bites are the easiest to forget when you log food. Alcohol can fit keto for some people, but it also lowers inhibition and increases snack risk. Plus, mixers are often sugary. The fix is awareness, not obsession. For a short troubleshooting window, decide that anything that goes in your mouth counts. Use a small note on your phone if you need it. If alcohol is part of your routine, keep it simple. Spirits with soda water or dry wine in a measured amount, and skip sweet mixers. The goal is fewer mystery carbs you can't explain later. Moving to slide 13. If you want a clean reset without overthinking, use a 3-day, boring keto protocol. It's not a forever plan, it's a diagnostic tool. For 3 days, eat simple meals with known carb counts. Choose eggs, meat, fish, and low-carb vegetables. Use salt, pepper, herbs, and a measured fat like olive oil or butter. Skip sauces, bars, sweeteners, and restaurant meals. Keep nuts and dairy minimal or measured. Drink water, sparkling water, tea, or coffee without sweeteners. This removes most hidden carbs in one move. Then, after 3 days, reintroduce one category at a time. Add back nuts or dairy or a specific sauce and see what changes. This method gives you clarity. It also reduces decision fatigue because the menu is simple. The point isn't suffering. The point is to identify which keto-friendly items are quietly pushing you over your personal carb threshold. Moving to slide 14. Let's wrap this into a quick daily scan you can actually use. Start with liquids. Any milk, creamer, yogurt drink, or sweetened beverage is a prime suspect. Next, check condiments. If you used more than a tablespoon, verify the carbs. Then look at snack foods. Bars, keto treats, nuts, and nut butters are where portions drift. After that, review vegetables by type and volume. Leafy greens are easy. Starchy vegetables need measuring. Finally, consider where the food came from. Home-cooked meals are easier to control. Restaurant meals are a black box unless you keep them very simple. If you're still stuck after cleaning up hidden carbs, remember there are other factors that can influence how you feel, like sleep and stress. But hidden carbs are the easiest lever to pull first because they're measurable. If you want, write down your biggest hidden carb culprit. A. Sauces and dressings. Or B. Keto snacks and bars. I read the comments, and if you want more practical checklists like this, subscribe. Moving to slide 15. One last mindset shift. Ketosis is a signal, not a personality test. If you're out of ketosis, it doesn't mean keto doesn't work or that you failed. It usually means your intake is slightly higher than your current threshold, or your food choices have too many unknowns. The 7 hidden carb mistakes are really 7 categories of uncertainty. Sauces, packaged keto foods, nuts, dairy, vegetable volume, restaurant meals, and sugar-free items. Your job is to reduce uncertainty until the pattern is obvious. Then you can choose what to keep based on what you enjoy and what your body tolerates. If you want to be flexible, earn flexibility by knowing your baseline first. That's how long-term keto becomes calmer and simpler. Keep your meals boring until your results are predictable. Then add variety carefully. And remember, if you have medical conditions or take medications that affect blood sugar, it's smart to be cautious and get professional guidance. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Control insulin. Control your biology.